This is the Mentorship Project Summer Internships and Beyond session. I'm Bob Dahlberg. I'm your speaker. So, as the workforce in mainframes gets older, we need to start training and providing opportunity for the next generation. So this is what this project is really all about: developing the engineers and developers of tomorrow. The skill sets is going to have to be different than the previous skill sets of the previous generation, because unlike the last generation, it's not just need of mainframe skills, but also of Linux and the enterprise in general. So what does the Mentorship Project do? So one of the biggest things we do is manage and coordinate the Open Mainframe's summer internship program, which is international. Another thing we do is we provide projects for academic credit, usually in capstone projects or independent studies, for students to work on projects at their universities and get college credit for it. We really want to facilitate open mainframe workforce development. We work closely with a lot of the other projects. We collect projects from other sources in the Open Mainframe project and from the user membership. So some of the benefits and some of the things we do is we expand the knowledge of the younger technicians coming in using things like Master the Mainframe, providing webinars and tech talks. We're trying to develop these crucial skills for tomorrow's enterprise. Like I said, it's more than just mainframe skills. It's mainframe skills in tandem with a distributed processing environment. So we provide, again, summer internships, projects for credit, and we try to expose the mentees to things like key companies and technical professionals, try to aid their transition into career path. So, the summer internship, this is the biggest part of what the Mentorship Project does, and so we'll go in a lot more detail what it's all about and what is entailed in participating in it. So, like I said, the Mentorship program runs the summer internship. We've successfully had interns on 6 of the 7 continents. We have yet to have an intern from Antarctica. But generally we start in October. In October, we start collecting projects for the next year. And also we're looking for projects in the pipeline pretty much all year long, because usually the projects for credit start in January and in August. But in October we do the real push for getting the different projects for the summer internship. November, we start recruiting interns to participate. By October, we pretty much understand who the mentors are going to be to help the mentees or the interns. But November, the flyers go out and a call for interns. So about February, March, we close the open invitation for mentors. And we start the interview process. And the interview process is we get what the preferences of the projects. The projects are out there for the mentees to look at, and they can bid on one or more projects. Those mentees then go to the mentors who look over their qualifications, and then they'll pick a number of mentees to do live interviews, find out what their interest and skills are. By March, April, we select the mentors select the mentees who work on their projects, and usually we target 8 mentees for the year. But in the past years, and especially because of COVID, we've upped it to 11 because we don't have our expenses are lower. By May 1st, the summer internships start, and this is where the whole process really begins. So the mentorship, it's a paid internship, and after the first 2 weeks in May, it's about mid-May, we give out a $500 stipend. Then what we do is about midterm, which is when we get to a point where we get a documented design and start doing the coding. we release a $2,500 stipend, and at the end of the project, when they actually deliver code, documentation, and a video presentation, we distribute a $3,000 stipend. So we used to do this based upon timings during the summer, but we went to something which is more of a event-driven release. So as the students come up with their project plan, they get the first stipend, the second stipend when they get their detailed design and start in their progress in programming, and finally the last one in when they finish the project sometime in August or September. So we have 3 phases. First starts May 1st, generally, and this is what we call the burn-in process. This is where we kick off the project. The interns or the mentees and the mentors get to know each other. They start setting up their environments. They start defining their project plan, that type of thing. Mid-cycle is about halfway through, generally around July 1st or mid-July. It's not cast in stone. And of course, the drop-dead date for the end of the mentorship is September 30th, or it's earlier because we have 2 schedules. We have a European schedule and we have an American schedule. So like I said before, the internship starts with the burn-in period. They engage socially with the mentor and mentee. They set expectations. They start learn about development practices for the project and the development environment that they'll be using. They refine the project plan. They get to know each other. They start figuring out what they can accomplish over the summer, and they come up with basically milestones that they plan on meeting. And of course, the last thing in the burn-in period is we've got to get all the processing forms, tax forms required by the Lennox Foundation, licensing and other things so that we can pay the interns. And since we're dealing internationally, we've got to get this stuff done in the beginning so that there's less problems with releasing stipends during the course of the program. So the mentorship relationship, we want them to identify a time each week where they can meet via conference call or video conferencing. Of course, sometimes the mentors and the mentees are maybe in different parts of the world, so they've got to coordinate when they're going to meet. And they need to be able to share documents and code in real time. As mentees need guidance or get stuck, it's important that the mentor be able to look over their shoulder. So we to ensure the meetings are on their calendars so that they don't miss it, don't forget about it. And we got to make sure that mentees understand that they have a commitment to the project. So, if they've got other things going on, we need to make sure that they are going to allot time to do the project. So we have a lot of different communication vehicles. We use Slack. We have a Slack channel on the Open Mainframe project. We have video conferencing. We can use Zoom, whatever is preferenced by the mentee and mentor. Emails, of course, are important. Conference calls are essential. And of course, we use GitHub and the Open Mainframe's GitHub in order to, as a repository to collect information and the source code. So as the mentees and the mentors get into a project, we use something called Community Bridge. And in Community Bridge, what you can do is you can get into the Community Bridge, and you can then click on View Repository, and that will take you right to the GitHub repository for the project. So in the GitHub repositories, what we do is we set up a template. So we have a documentation folder in there, and this is where all the designs go and any other information they need, like requirements and project plan and things. We have a folder for notes and research. This is for as they find documentation or APIs that they need to work with, or other things that are helpful for someone who picks up this project and takes a look at it, they can find it. We have status reports in there. We want that'll be deleted after the project is done, but we want to make sure that we get status so that the mentors can have something to evaluate on. And of course, then there's the source code in SRC. So the first phase is what we require in phase 1, which is the project plan and start collecting requirements. Now the project plan, we have a set form. It's very simple. Basically, we want the students name the mentor of the project, a short description of the project that they have, define a short problem definition, and of course then what we want to do is have them come up with kind of a milestone plan. In other words, what week are you going to do, what task, and what's the goal of that task. And this is needed in order to get the first stipend, the $500. So midterm deliverables, about midterm, which is usually between July 1st and July 30th. By this time, we expect a high-level architecture, some detailed design that complements the high-level design, and what we entail here is that the two should, one should refer to the other. So as I look at the detail level design in terms of the components, I should be able to see that on the high-level architecture. So what we try to encourage is that designs and documentation are living documents. In other words, as you change your project, change the documentation. This is a good practice because it allows them to form good habits. So in this phase, of course, we're doing the high-level design, detailed level design, and of course, commenting the code. All projects are different, so the artifacts that they produce for a high-level design is really up to the mentor and mentee. Same thing with detailed level design, and of course, the code in the comments. These things should all complement each other. So these things are required, and again, these things should be living documents, because if you get in the habit of documentation, both on paper and in the code, it makes life easier. And I don't know how many of you have looked at open source code. We're trying to improve the quality of documentation that goes with it, so it's easier to understand. It's quicker to be able to understand what's going on. So a high-level architecture might be something like a UML diagram, where you've got the different components here. And of course, you've got, in the components, you've got the different modules that are attached to those components. Again, this is just one example. Detailed level design, like I said, should complement the architecture. As you start identifying in the detailed design what each module does, that's referenced in the architecture, we expect something in that, just very simple. We're not trying to do a lot of documentation, but we want some things to create a roadmap for people coming in, looking at it, trying to figure out the source code. So a description of the module, what are the input outputs, what are the APIs or external calls, and are there special data structures you're using in them. Now in the comments in the code, that's where you get really detailed about what's going on in the module, and that should complement. So when I look at a source code module, I should be able to go into the module then, or the program, and then see the detailed complements, and there should be some complements of going on. So the idea here is it's a three-tiered documentation architecture as we're looking at. And of course, the final phase is the finished code. We want complete and documented code. We want the documents that document the code as well, like the high-level or architecture and the detailed design. We also want testings, unit and system testing. Of course, we realize that a developer can't really test his own code from a user perspective, but we expect that something that should be something that could be run. We also are going to expect them to do a demo, and we want them to record that demo in a presentation, and of course complete the final documentation for turnover. In the presentation, we started doing this year, as a matter of fact, because we didn't have live conferences to send students to, but we felt that this was actually better. And actually, we'll go back to the live conferences when COVID's over, but we still are going to do video presentations, because this gives the more exposure for the students and the projects, because we can use them for marketing materials. We can also use them, highlight the project, get a quick update about what the project's all about. So it gives more exposure to the students. So there's many days we can do this. We can do a PowerPoint slides, and of course, in a PowerPoint slide, PowerPoint itself, you can create a video with the slides using the insert audio, which I've got over here just on the right here, and we show them how to do that. So the demo, with the PowerPoint slides, you can also do a demo. So you can go not only from the PowerPoint slides, but you can go outside the PowerPoint slides using the insert screen recording and actually go through a demo. And of course, then we create the MP4 presentation. So the projects for academic credit, that's basically the same as what we do during the normal year. We get mentors, we get projects. They work with a professor who's a faculty advisor and the students. There's no monetary compensation here. The students get academic credit. Now these projects can run 1 semester or 2 semesters depending upon what the specific university, how they run their program. The code, they need to create an open source. They need to use the Mainframe, open Mainframe GitHub, and we also are going to require a recorded video at the end of the project. So what's next going on here for the mentor? So basically that's the main things we do is the projects for credit and the mentorship, summer internships. So what else are we trying to do? Well, we collect a lot of projects through the technology projects, and these are the projects that are in open Mainframe, and we collect a lot of projects here. We also work with the mentoring and learning modules, where we've also, in addition to the mentorship project, we've got the COBOL programming courses, and we've got the education, which is brand new, we're starting to create curriculum. But we also have other industry partners, such as IBM, Rocket. These are all these areas we get partners, we get projects for, and they also help with the mentoring of students. So we can also collaborate with our other industry partners. Here's just some smaller areas that we've gotten projects from. You see IBM there. You see Jenkins, and you see Walmart Labs, and of course. This is an area where we can go beyond just with the vendor type sponsorships, but also go with other companies that can sponsor projects through the Open Mainframe Mentorship. So some of the academic partners, we've got some academic partners that are very active in the Open Mainframe, especially the mentorship. We've got Marxist College, which provides us with resources on their mainframe at their university. We've also got Eastern Carolina is very active. North Carolina Agriculture and Technology is very active. Western is very active. And of course the university I come from, which is Virginia Commonwealth University, also active. So what's the next? One, we want to increase academic membership. We promote the learning opportunities and awareness. I'd like nothing more than to start a kind of a group that can discuss and be more active in this. We also want to encourage development and sharing of mainframe curriculum. I think we can produce more well-rounded computer science students and talent pool if we include not just mainframe and not just distributed systems, but a combination of both, because that is the reality of what the world is going to look like in the next generation. So we want to create new opportunities. So we're increasing the number of summer internships and projects for credit. We work with hackathons, creating digital badges. So there's a lot going on here, and a lot we can do, and a lot we really want to do, but we're going to need more people to help us. So really, we want to facilitate the talent pool and the networking between the talent coming up, the employers, and academics. I think this is the three legs of the stool here, that using the new talent coming through, the employers or the companies out there in the field, and academia, I think getting those three working together is essential for the next generation and moving our discipline further. So we really need more members. We need more active members. So if you're inclined to help out, it'd be great. So that's it in a nutshell, what we're all about. So I'll open it up for discussion and questions.